Hello world, from whichever time zone you're catching me from, my name is MD90. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notification to all so that you do not miss the uploads that come up. And the easiest way for you to navigate the channel is to head to the playlist. You'll find videos curated for you based on your interest. So if you're interested in the Kutika podcast, you'll find a playlist for that. For news and trends, there's a playlist for that. Exclusive with MD90, a bunch of playlists that are created based on your interest. So the easiest way to navigate the channel is head straight to the playlist and you'll find what you're here for. Consider becoming a member of the channel. Right next to the subscribe button is a join button. You click on the join button so that you can become a member of the channel. You support the team on the production and a number of things that we're doing here, and we appreciate that. Well, former President Edgar Lungu has received his verdict from the Constitutional Court, simply stating that he cannot contest the presidency of Zambia in future elections because he had already served 2 terms. So different sections of society are simply reacting to that. And Edgar Lungu had this to say: Plan B is now in motion. Edgar Lungu, I am incoming president. I can't fail to bounce back. So that's a headline coming from the News Diggers, from an extract in a statement that Edgar Lungu had published a couple of hours ago. In fact, just right after the verdict was announced by the Constitutional Court, he put up an article with regard to the same. So the News Diggers are attributing that element to come from there. So simply saying he's bouncing back either way. I do not know how that will happen, but that's the plan B he's talking about, that everyone is curious about. As you can see, different headlines in the newspapers different newspapers are referring to the same headline. Plan B, Edgar Lungu accepts Constitutional Court ruling and says today's verdict was expected. So he simply says it's not news to him. He anticipated this verdict, and then he has put in motion Plan B. Now everyone is curious to know what that Plan B is. We just wait and see what happens. What is the Kalemba attributes an article to a statement that given also. He did a live stream right after the verdict saying, we will use Imbingala to have Lungu on the ballot box in 2026, Lubinda. Former cabinet minister Gideon Lubinda has failed to accept yesterday's ruling on former President Edgar Lungu's eligibility, revealing that the Tonse Alliance and patriotic PF faction will now use Mingala to tricks to have former President Edgar Lungu on the ballot in 2026. So that's a statement attributed to Gideon Lubinda. They go further to say this is still Kalemba, say no one can stop Lungu. Lubinda. Given Lubinda, a staunch supporter of Edgar Lungu, has vowed that the former presidents will defy the odds and appear on the 2026 presidential ballot. It says there. So we'll wait and see how that plays out. I'm pretty sure you've even seen this video of that statement coming from Given Lubinda on this channel. It's right there on the shorts. Just go right there. You'll see the video of that statement, an extract from that. But this is a statement that came from Edgar Lungu himself. This was just hours after the official verdict came from the Constitutional Court. So he says, my response to the Constitutional Court judgment today, that's Edgar Lungu's headline. He says, ladies and gentlemen, on our beloved nation, esteemed members of the press and fellow patriots, and all who hold dear the principle of justice and constitutional democracy, we find ourselves at a critical juncture in our nation's history, a moment marked by deep reflection and I dare say profound sense of our common identity and diversity of destiny. The verdict rendered today was expected. He says, 4 months, the hands of political manipulation have with an undeniable force steered us towards the conclusion foreseen not by merit or reasoned argument on constitutional fundamentals, but by the weight of the orchestrated design and political mechanisms or machinations. We kept on monitoring these. He says, to understand the gravity of this moment, we must revisit the sequence of events that brought us to here. It began with a petition that sought to exclude me from the political arena, not through the natural verdict of the people on the ballot paper, but by the calculated intervention of political forces sponsored by political players, it unfolded with the reshaping of our constitutional court, the displacement of arbitrary and justice, and narrowing of the judicial voices to fit the predetermined script. That's where he's referring to those constitutional court judges that were first suspended and then should have been like a week afterwards fired or expelled from their offices. That's what he's referring to there. It goes further to say in this article, let's see, where do we pick it from? Let us ensure that let me assure you, I'm not filled with bitterness, but with renewed determination, political hope, and faith that democracy, not court politics, shall certainly win in 2026 without any doubt. We must show the world that Zambia's democracy cannot be extinguished by manipulated verdict. Zambia shall win and celebrate very soon. Not few ruling elites through their proxies, referring to the court system there. To those who believe that they have triumphed today, I say this: history is a very patient judge. The true verdict will be rendered not in the chambers of court, but the hearts of the people of Zambia and the annals of time. My fellow Zambians, let us walk forward together with dignity and resolve. Let us prove that our democracy, though tested in this moment, will emerge stronger. Today, Plan B goes into motion, and democracy will prevail, as we shall win. Thank you, and may God bless our beloved Zambia. Edgar Chagwa Lungu, 6th President of Zambia, PF President, and Tonse Alliance 2026 presidential candidate. And then he attaches that picture you see there. So that's an official statement coming from Edgar Lungu. Simply says Plan B is in motion, and the people will win in 2026. We anticipate and wait and see what that means, because no one really knows what Plan B means here. And then the UPND also put up an article saying, I would have loved to see Lungu on the ballot, Kangombe. As the nation celebrates the Constitutional Court ruling, Edgar Lungu's ineligibility to stand in future elections, I am reminded of the two worrying trends this ruling has exposed. The judiciary compromise during the Patriotic Front reign is alarming, as it allowed the candidate who was not eligible to stand. My concern is that if we have a leader, a leader who interferes with justice or the judiciary, what will stop the Constitutional Court from changing the judgment on eligibility in the future? We recall how our former President Edgar Lungu warned judges not to pass judgments against him, and they seemingly bent the law to suit him. The review of the decision has resulted in the waste of public resources and consequences of former President serious interference with the judiciary. Personally, I would have loved to see Lungu on the ballot and allowing us to defeat him the second time. However, we respect the court's decision. At the time, I appeal to former President Lungu to be a statesman and use this opportunity to unite the country. I urge him to respect the Constitution and set an example for the young politicians, rather than pursuing a so-called Plan B, referring to Plan B that Edgar Lungu had talked about a couple of minutes ago. Unfortunately, those surrounding him seem more interested in exploiting resources than in his well-being. Romeo Kangombe, Shesheke Member of Parliament, Deputy National Chairperson for Mobilization and Strategy, United Party for National Development. That's a statement coming from Romeo there, Kangombe. Then Harikaba also says the judiciary and the Constitutional Court, in particular, have cast a very dark shadow on our constitutional democracy and rule of law and jurisprudence with today's ruling. The same court that had ruled 4 times that President Lungu was eligible to contest in 2021 and future elections has taken a very dangerous path and has regrettably backtracked on its former ruling. Today, the Constitutional Court ruling extremely sad for our long-cherished independence of the judiciary. That's a statement coming from Hari Karava there. giving his view or 2 cents on the verdict. What is the nation says, no retreat, no surrender, Edgar Chagwa Lungu. Then obviously referring to the same article that he had put up on his platform. Edgar Chagwa Lungu, popular but ineligible, says Attorney General Kabesha. He says popular but ineligible. And that's a statement, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good day.